I wanted to show you one thing. You did send me this image before, and I did just finally get this into my weather system. If you want to see what it looks like here, to have, how many inches did we say? It was 38 in that red house. This is close to that. I'm going to have the image right up here for you. This is in Moncton, Maryland. And you can see how much snow is on the back of that patio table. And that easily looks like 2.5, 3 feet of snow there in the Maryland area.
Yeah, I've been having lots of friends in Baltimore send me pictures. So my friend Kristen sent this picture of her friend Chris's parents' house in Moncton, Maryland. You got to follow the bouncing ball, but a lot of people sending me pictures.
And I had someone send me a funny quote. They said, "Thank you, Twitter, for showing me what everyone's backyard patio set looks like."
Yes, we have seen a lot of that via social media. Bill, thanks so much for the update. We'll talk again shortly. I want to check in now with NBC's Dylan Dreyer as she makes her approach into New York City via the Lincoln Tunnel. The travel ban went into effect 30 minutes ago for non-emergency vehicles traveling in the city and also for Nassau County. Dylan, what are you seeing?
Hey, Thomas, you know, for anyone who's not familiar with getting into New York City from New Jersey via the Lincoln Tunnel, there's this helix that goes around, and it is usually filled with traffic. And you can base how long it's going to take getting into New York City based on how much traffic and how far you're backed up on this helix. There is not a soul right now. It's the Bluemobile, and it's the chaser truck that is with the Bluemobile, and there is no one on the helix right now, at least from what we've seen. It'll be interesting to see once we actually get to the toll booth, and I'm wondering if they're still going to take our toll, even with the Lincoln Tunnel being shut down. Keep in mind, we have press plates, so that should allow us to, I guess, override the ban because we are considered an essential vehicle because, you know, we're out reporting what the conditions are so that everyone knows that we're serious when we say do not be out and about. We've been traveling a steady 25, 30 miles per hour. We've hit the heaviest stuff ever since we left Trenton, New Jersey, and we've been driving in really just awful conditions, almost whiteout conditions because of the wind and the heavier snow. So we are continuing around the helix right now very slowly, obviously, because it is a sharp turn. And yeah, the toll booths are empty. There are a lot of cops around, so I imagine that we are going to now run into some sort of identification post here. So we're kind of waiting it out and seeing what happens, Thomas.
Yeah, I want to wait it out with you as we watch your approach there. As some vehicles are going through, we see one of the police vehicles there on the right-hand side with their lights on. We'll see if you make it through as well. I'm not sure if your vehicle has the Easy Pass, Dylan.
We do have Easy Pass, and bam, there goes our $20 toll right there. So yes, they are still accepting money, even though it's closed. So yeah, nobody stopped us. And I'm assuming because we're traveling with the Bluemobile. I mean, this is a very fascinating vehicle that has that satellite built right into the back of it. So obviously you can tell we're with the news. We have NBC posted all over our truck. So we might lose our signal now that we get into the tunnel, which is a little slippery until we finally start to lose the snow. And now we're in the tunnel with absolutely no one else, Thomas. It's a beautiful thing.
No, this is the first time you've seen blacktop in a long time, right, Dylan?
Yes, and it's very reassuring. We know we finally have 100% traction right now, so we'll enjoy these next 5 minutes in the tunnel, that's for sure.
And where was the worst on the roads? Do you recall what the worst section where your travel was coming north?
We were hitting some pretty awful stuff right in Secaucus. You know, right as we were getting towards Elizabeth, which is exit 13A on the New Jersey Turnpike, and then we got into Secaucus, and that's where the roads were completely covered in snow because the snow was coming down at rates of about 2 inches per hour. So even with the trucks out there plowing away the snow, you just can't keep up with it. And then it was wind blown on top of that, so there were drifts on the sides of the roads, and you run into these patches. And then on top of that, our wipers the ice keeps freezing up on the wipers, so you can't always see. So it's the combination of bad windshield visibility, bad visibility because of the snow, and then the awful road conditions too. So yeah, northern New Jersey was when it really started to get bad.
I got to say, I'm absolutely amazed that we're having this conversation with you inside the Lincoln Tunnel, and you've already gone to the shallowest part, and now you're starting to emerge. This is pretty wild.
Right?
Yeah, I like this. This is amazing reporting.
Who would have thought you'd want to tag along on a trip to through the Lincoln Tunnel? But you never see it without brake lights in front of you. So Yeah, this is amazing technology that we're still talking to you right now, underwater.
No, a road trip with Dylan Dreyer is a great thing to do when we're traveling through blizzard conditions like this. And it is amazing to think that just about 37 minutes ago, the travel ban went into effect. So if you're joining us right now on MSNBC, we're with Dylan Dreyer as she and her crew are making their way back into New York City. They've been traveling north. They left D.C. this morning, and this is the cleanest road that they've seen as they are submerged right now, traveling back through the Lincoln Tunnel. And Dylan, I want to see you pop up on the other side, so just bear with me, because I'm very curious as to whether or not you're going to see authorities on the other side, or if it's going to be as scarce as we saw it on your entrance.
Well, this is the fastest I've ever gotten through the Lincoln Tunnel, and I can see the light literally at the end of the tunnel. So we are about to open back up into the snowstorm, and I was surprised how easy it was, because we kept talking the whole ride. Are the press passes going to be enough? Are our press plates going to let us through? What's going to happen if we can't get in? Should we stay in Secaucus? We had this whole game plan, and it was very easy to get through the tunnel, I assume because of the Blue Mobile, and it's obviously a news vehicle. So here we are getting out of the tunnel, and there is no one still to be seen anywhere. I don't even see any police cars or flashing lights. So yeah, we have made it successfully back into New York City.
Welcome
we left
back.
Washington, D.C. at 7:30 this morning, so it is very nice to be back home.
Yeah, a long road trip for you and the crew,
now
for
I just
sure.
hope we don't get arrested.
No, I certainly hope that you won't, and I don't think that you will. But we're going to continue looking at this. It's pretty amazing to see these streets as you come back into New York City and traveling through the Lincoln Tunnel uninterrupted. I think that's the most connectivity we've had with you, Dylan, the whole time. Overpasses were a bigger obstacle
I know,
than the Lincoln
live
Tunnel.
Shot has been a little in and out.
All right, Dylan Dreyer,
the Lincoln
thank you.
Tunnel worked great. Thanks, Thomas.
We'll check back in with you shortly. Our Dylan Dreyer and the crew safely back into New York City again. Just about 40 minutes ago, the city went under a travel ban for New York City and for Nassau County. Obviously, there's a grace period in check for certain folks that are trying to get home, that are working. Dylan's vehicle is a press vehicle, so they are allowed to be on the road. We've got this storm covered for you from every angle. We want to check in now with Adam Reese. He's in Central Park. We also have Rahima Ellis on the Jersey Shore and Jacob Rascone in Philadelphia. Adam, let me start with you, because we've got the mayor enacting that travel ban. It's not stopping folks from coming out to where you are in Central Park and trying to enjoy some of this.
No, certainly not, Thomas. The snow continues to come down, Thomas, just as hard as it was at 6 a.m. So far, we have about 15 inches here in Central Park, and by the time this is all over, by tomorrow afternoon, when the blizzard warning is over, we could see at least 2 feet of snow. As you mentioned, the city virtually shut down. The travel ban went in place at 2:30. The MTA shutting down bus service. The Long Island Railroad, the MTA into Westchester also shut down. LaGuardia and Kennedy airports also shut down. The Broadway theaters, the museums also shut down. So where does everybody come? They come here to Central Park to enjoy the snow. Mary Ann has waited in the cold. You waited for me, so thank you. You said you were actually meditating while you were waiting.
So that I can stand here and not feel the snow in my face, but it's a wonderful feeling, and I'm grateful that we have Central Park, and when the city closes down, we're the lucky ones. We get to walk in the middle of the street and enjoy Central Park and take great photos, and tomorrow morning it'll be just as beautiful. Maybe the sun will be out even.
So you're really enjoying this and taking advantage of the picturesque beauty of Central Park.
Central Park is a gem. We're so blessed to have it. Yes, absolutely. And I'm sure all our northern friends are jealous because we're here in the snow and loving every minute of it.
All right, well, thank you for waiting.
Very welcome.
And continue to enjoy. I appreciate you waiting. Thomas, even though this is so beautiful and everybody's enjoying it here, the mayor has instituted a winter emergency, and that means he wants people off the streets. The travel ban went in place at 2:30. They've got 6,000 miles of streets that they need to plow. They've got 2,400 plows and salt spreaders, 300,000 tons of salt. But again, with all this snow, a bigger issue, Governor Cuomo said he's more concerned about the flooding than the snow. Both he and Governor Christie keeping an eye on the coast this afternoon. But this afternoon, these people are enjoying the snow here in Central Park. We've seen sledders, people in snowshoes, people in skis. I've actually seen people on bikes out here, Thomas, if you can believe that.
Well, Adam, is this the height of the amount of folks that you've seen coming out of the park? This has been the busiest that it's been so far today, or was it busier earlier?
It's been a continuous all afternoon. There are a couple hills, so a lot of the kids are going to two different hills. There's one just a couple blocks north of me, and then there's one on the east side. So we've seen plenty of sleds, and people are really enjoying it. I've seen a lot of tourists come in, talk to people from Greece and Argentina, people who don't get to see snow where they live, and just loving this. But again, there are serious issues that need to be addressed in terms of transportation, and it's best to stay off the roads. But if you can walk to Central Park, certainly take advantage of it.
Yeah, if you've got kids in the house, this is a good light snow that'll pack well if you're going to take them sledding or on a toboggan. Adam Reese in Central Park, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. As we look at this from a different angle, we've got the blizzard bringing some very severe coastal flooding to parts of Jersey and Delaware. This is in Sea Isle, New Jersey, where high tide brought the frigid water flooding right into the storefronts. NBC's Rahema Ellis watching this flood threat in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. And I know you've been dealing with some pretty harsh wind conditions. What are you seeing now, Rahema?
Thomas, it continues to be harsh wind conditions here along the coast. We're in a different angle, so I can't show you the ocean now, but I can tell you that the waves are still surging up on the beach. One of the things that the governor and people here in New Jersey are very concerned about is the fact that they're going to have a lot of beach erosion as a result of the high winds and the blowing that's been going on all day long. You talked about some of the coastal flooding. Atlantic City is one of those areas where people are very concerned about what happened because they have been flooded out in those sections. A short while ago, I had an interview with Governor Christie about what is going on, about the fact that he says this is not nearly as bad as Hurricane Sandy was in 2012 because parts of where I am standing right now did not survive during Hurricane Sandy. We have been here all day, and it's been pretty good all day. This building was rebuilt now to hurricane code, so we feel pretty good. But going forward, listen to what it was just a short while ago. Earlier, you declared a state of emergency, thinking you'd get about 2 feet of snow. Do you think that state of emergency will be lifted tonight or tomorrow?
Probably sometime tomorrow would be my guess. I want to make sure that the plows have enough time to really clear our streets so that by Monday, when we get ready for the morning rush, that everything is fine.
So the governor has said in terms of the snowfalls here along the coastline where they thought it was going to be really bad with flooding in this particular area, he said they're seeing something like from 8 to 12 inches of snow. Further inland, they're seeing almost 2 feet of snow, and that's why they declared the state of emergency. In addition to that, he says he's hoping that people will continue to stay off the roads. New Jersey transit lines have been shut down because it was too dangerous to operate them. We should also tell you the height of the storm, at one point, something like 94,000 customers were without power throughout the state. They hope that that number is going to start to come down. Emergency crews and the linemen to get up on those power lines and repair the lines. But Thomas, the big problem is, as long as we've got winds gusting like they are right now, it makes it very difficult to repair any kind of power line.
We can only imagine how tough it is, and Rahema Ellis, we really appreciate you battling the winds out there and the conditions to bring us that reporting from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Rahema, thank you. Further south in Philadelphia, up to 17 inches of snow has fallen so far. Most rail and bus service has also been suspended, and the city of brotherly love could see as much as 30 inches before it's all said and done. NBC's Jacob Rascone is live in Philadelphia along the Delaware River with more on that. And Jacob, what have you been watching there?
Yeah, behind us, the Delaware River is looking more like the ocean. There's ice going in and out. It's very choppy. We just took a drive around Philadelphia to check it out, and it's essentially a ghost town. What we did notice is that in the residential areas where the snow plows for the city are not going because there's not enough manpower to make it there, you're seeing a lot of the neighbors come out and helping each other and taking out the snow away from the sidewalks. But on most of the residential streets, there is no change. It's just 1.5 feet to 2 feet or whatever it is of snow there on top of the cars and on the streets, and that will stay there until tomorrow because, as the city says, the plows are not able to make it until that time. We mentioned 17 inches of snow. That was measured this morning at about 9 o'clock. The snow has been on and off since then, but is not expected to stop completely until midnight. So that number 17 expected to go way up, as you mentioned. And the winds have been on and off. We've had gusts as strong as 60 and 70 miles an hour in Pennsylvania. Another thing to mention is motorists stuck on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. We've been checking into that. It is still there, a standstill. They're still not able to get out of there. And we're checking on when that might change. We also know that in Kentucky, there are also some others that were stuck. And this is since last night. I mean, this is a very dangerous situation. Philadelphia, another one of those big cities that is just a black hole for travel. The airport, of course, is essentially shut down. No flights in or out all day today. That will resume tomorrow, and you can expect that will be a nightmare, not just in Philadelphia, of course, or the Washington airports that are shut down as well, but across the United States. It's a giant ripple effect. Travel not expected to get back to normal really until the middle of next week. Thomas?
Jacob Riscone reporting there for us in Philadelphia. Jacob, thank you, sir. We also have new video coming out of Washington, D.C., where the National Guard is patrolling the streets. NBC's Luke Russert is in Washington with the very latest on this. That's the fresh video that we're seeing right there. And, Luke, it seems it's gotten a little bit worse since the last time we talked for you.
Yeah, believe it or not, Thomas, I've been out here since Thursday when the preparation started, and yesterday when it was coming down. This is the worst it's been when we've been on air, and the reason why the wind gusts are really picking up. I just checked on them when I was inside of a shelter, averaging about 30, 35 miles per hour right now, and this is in the center of Washington in downtown D.C., where there's buildings in theory that could block some of that wind, so you can imagine what it would be like closer towards the shore or out in the suburbs themselves. All that being said, though, you're now seeing whiteout conditions here in D.C., and we are really 3/4 of the way through this storm in terms of what the overall snowfall will be. Expected to lighten up around midnight tonight, and it shouldn't be that bad getting into the evening. But this is why Mayor Bowser of Washington said, please get off the roads yesterday at 3 p.m. and continue to stay off the roads. You really shouldn't be there. I see as few folks walking down the middle of the road, obviously, because the sidewalks are not plowed at all. Just imagine if you're a driver out there, which you shouldn't be, but if you're emergency vehicle personnel or a plow, it's hard to see someone walking down the middle of the road right now with this type of wind gust. So please, please, please stay home. The other thing that we're starting to see, Thomas, is the accumulation of large snow drifts, anywhere between 3-4 feet. They're starting to be put together right now. That'll be interesting to see how the city deals with that tomorrow and how the plows deal with that. Lastly, a bit of good news I can deliver. Pepco, the local municipality here, they tell me that they have not had the severe power outages that they feared going into this storm. This is, for as bad as it is, this is light and fluffy stuff. This is not the heavy stuff that breaks tree branches and can hurt those above ground power lines, which will lead to power outages for quite some time. So it's nasty. Let me stay out here and get pelted by it. You stay home, watch us here on MSNBC, enjoy your Comcast cable. Don't come out in this. It's not fun.
This storm will not beat you, Luke Russert. You are going to show it,
no, it won't.
A thing or two. Thank you, sir. We appreciate all the hard work you've been doing since Thursday as you've been reporting and keeping us all posted about what's going on in D.C. Thank you. All right, so we have been watching all of this together, and pretty amazing as we saw our own Dylan Dreyer and her crew driving through live in the Lincoln Tunnel. That is despite the travel ban in New York City. So Dylan's folks were giving us a bird's eye view straight through their windshield of what it looked like on roads leading into the city. Now, their vehicle is a press vehicle, so they are, in effect, not a part of the ban, but it was fascinating to be a part of that ride as we saw nobody on the streets. Now, this is a different look as you see some cars that were left in Times Square. There you can see more of it now, a live look as it's pedestrians just taking up that walkway, and we only see one vehicle with headlights. We're going to talk more about the situation for New York City as it is expected to get worse before it gets better. Back in a moment.